Hi, I am yet again overdue for an update. I meant to update earlier than this, but I have felt like shit for the better part of 2 weeks. I was dealing with like a viral head cold thing for almost a week and a half, and then this week I felt like crap for other reasons that I'll get into. The last time I talked about how I was supposed to be going in for a colonoscopy, I was working with a gastroenterologist, and thankfully I have one that really understands the link between IBS and gut health and PCOS. So I did go in for my colonoscopy. We had Thanksgiving, and a week after Thanksgiving, I actually went in for the procedure. Everybody warned me about the colonoscopy prep, so drinking all these fluids and being on the toilet, but I will tell you, and this is way too much information for most people, but honestly, going through the 2 day prep for the colonoscopy were super easy days for me. Like I'm normally used to being in the bathroom after every meal, and constantly I'm constantly in the bathroom, barely making it to the bathroom sometimes. So for me, it was a welcome break. The week of the colonoscopy was pretty easy for me. It was a little rough on my blood sugar because I was going without food, so I was feeling kind of out of it, but the prep itself was not bad at all. And for me, that was a big wake up call because I did not realize how bad my body had become and how completely disaligned or just really out of control of things I was, and not having answers and just really having all of these things that are going on in my body completely take over my life. And I didn't realize how much that was the case, but going through that where I was very carefully taking care of things, and having that be an easy day for me was mortifying. Really, I was so horrified to realize that what this hell is for everybody else, that they go through this temporary 1 day hell, is literally 24 hours a day in my life. So it really kind of motivated me to make sure that I do what I need to do to take care of this because that's no way to live. That's no way to take care of my body. And, knowing that I have PCOS, I really have to be careful about how I nutritionally take care of my body and, going through food the way that I was, I'm not getting any nutrition from it at all. It's in and out within minutes. So, gross stuff. So the colonoscopy itself was not bad. I will say, make sure that your doctors anesthetize you correctly because mine did not. They were having issues with the IV and they did not actually numb anything. So I felt literally the whole thing. It was awful. It was really bad. It was a horrible experience. But I did get to sit and watch things on the screen. Really bad experience. I really can't say that enough. But it gave us answers. They did biopsies. I got to watch them do that. Horrible thing to watch as it's happening to you. But it's done. It's over with. Thank goodness I got to go through it and I didn't have to pay a ton of money out of pocket. It's done. I'm grateful for that, the ability to have had that done. So I went through the colonoscopy on a Thursday. It was the Thursday after Thanksgiving, and I had my results by the following Thursday. It came up in my chart on my app in my phone, but then they sent me a letter, and I had the letter by Saturday morning. So I went to the grocery store with my mom, scrambling, trying to figure out what to eat on this stupid diet that I have to be on for 6 weeks, and I really struggled. But whatever, I made it work. So Monday, I started that FODMAP diet. Today's Saturday, so I've been on it for 6 days now. So day one, I really can't say enough about how I completely know that I'm very addicted to sugar, and it doesn't help that I have PCOS and insulin resistance because your body becomes very dependent on these things. So I am trying very hard to go through the FODMAP diet in a way that is okay with PCOS. And later in the week, I started to falter a little bit, but with PCOS, you really have to watch your carb intake and, watch your blood sugars and things like that. And with FODMAP, it's watching all these other kind of sugars. So there are some ways that the diets sort of align together, but then there are other ways that they're completely opposite. So I'm trying to find that happy medium. The FODMAP diet says that I can have just plain white sugar, and like stevia, whatever the actual name. I don't think it's not I don't know what it is. I don't know all the saccharides, whatever. I don't know those things. But that being said, it's not good for my PCOS. And I feel like I just wanted to have a cleanse of everything, and not just focus on eating really crappy foods, because I very much could have done that. So started off Monday really strong, lots of vegetables and lean proteins, and the same thing for Tuesday. But by the time I got to Tuesday, I had such a headache. I was in complete sugar withdrawal within a day and a half, and that lasted well into Thursday. Thursday, I couldn't even make it home from work. Like, I tried my hardest to work through. So I went through Tuesday night, Wednesday, and all day Thursday with a horrible migraine. And I ended up actually having to have my boss and a coworker drive me home and trail with my car behind me just to get me home because my head was hurting so badly. And it was really difficult too because I didn't want to eat anything. When you have a migraine, you don't want to eat. But then I'm also like going through all of these withdrawals from sugar, and all I want is, like carby, sugar-rich foods, and I'm not allowing myself to have them. So that was really rough, but I think that I've definitely gotten past the withdrawal part of the whole process, which was terrible. I would say 95 times worse than withdrawal from caffeine. Like, it was deep. It was bad. So, and it didn't really help that I was still trying to get over the sinusy chest cold thing. So it was just like this huge punch to my system, big time. So, kind of felt okay yesterday, which was Friday. I have what I call a phantom headache. So when I get migraines, if they're really bad enough, like the day following them, no matter whether I've taken medicine or not, I will have it's like my head is sore from hurting for so long. It's really weird, and I know it's probably not scientific, but that's the only way that I can describe it. So Friday was sort of like that, and today I feel amazing. So it's been a struggle to try and find things that taste good to me, just because I've been going through those feeling nauseous about everything and my head hurting so much. But I can already feel a lot different. So I'm not in the bathroom nearly as much. The first couple of days I really struggled with constipation, but that sort of regulated itself a little bit. There are things that I'm able to have. So there are certain vegetables that I can have whatever I want of, but then it's really important to pay attention to serving sizes. And I learned that the hard way with green beans, because green beans is one of those sort of, if you have things that are rated green, yellow, and red, those would be a yellow one. So you only use just a smaller serving of those. And I, for lunch, basically just had a bunch of green beans because I did have some salmon, but it really didn't taste good to me. I was trying to stay away from the quinoa as much as I possibly could. And then I had some fresh green beans as well. So I had too many green beans. Like, a serving is really small, like 12 of them. And I had a cup of them. And I ended up in the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom multiple times, and that's what my normal life is like. So I've already been able to see what these triggers are, and I'm struggling right now because I'm trying to find foods that I like that aren't just bland, boring chicken and vegetables and just stupid things that I know that I can't stick to. And right now I'm in the process where I'm trying to wrap my mind around being able to do this for 6 weeks. But I know that it's going to be finding foods that are actually going to work for me, because the last 2 days, I've lived off of cheese, basically string cheese and macadamia nuts, because that's all that sounded good to me. Just no way to have any kind of nutrition. So I'm going back to the store tonight, and I'll try and find some things that actually taste decent that I can eat for lunches that I'm not just going to gag down. So that was really important too. And I realized I thought that cheese was a big trigger for me. I like to eat cheese because I'm not a huge fan of meat, and that's a main source of protein for me. So the only dairy that I've had have been hard cheeses. There are certain cheeses that you can have on a low FODMAP diet, certain that you can't. So I've stuck with the ones that I can have, and I have not had any stomach issues at all, which is really interesting because I always did. But I'm realizing that it's not the cheese. So I don't know, and it could be something little. It's been really difficult cutting things out, like onions and garlic. Those are my two biggest things because I love to season my food, and The seasonings that I use have onion and garlic in them, and I didn't realize how much garlic I ate. But now that I can't have it, it's so like the world has ended because I can't figure out how to flavor my food without that thing. So that's been difficult, and I'm realizing that it most likely is just things that I don't realize. So it's exciting to me. That makes me motivated to do it longer, but then that voice in the back of my head tells me that I'm already figuring it out, so I don't really need to. But I know that at the end of the day, going the 6 weeks, according to my doctor, is just going to realign my gut altogether and get things back in a healthy place so I'm not attacking everything in my body. And in terms of other changes, my gastroenterologist, I talked to him when I started the diet about Bentyl, which is the medication that my primary care physician put me on for IBS, and I was taking 4 times a day. Again, I don't like medication, so that was really bothering me. So I called them first thing that morning, and they said that it's not even a preventative medication. It is a medication that you take if you start to feel those pain and cramping. So they said to keep it in my arsenal as a PRN medication, just use it if I need it, but definitely don't be taking it 4 times a day. I was very frustrated that I found that out. I think that my doctor was just trying to kind of come at things as much as possible, but it frustrates me and continues to put me more on that path of I hate medicines and I don't like doctors because she was really wrong about the way that she told me, or I'm getting at least getting 2 different stories about it and I have no idea who's right. So I'll stick to my essential oils and meditation when it comes to that because whatever. So again, I'm 6 days into the FODMAP diet. Excited to go to the store and get some food that I can actually eat that doesn't make me gag. And I'm really kind of excited to go into a week where I am past the withdrawal symptoms, where I'm past just feeling sick and nauseous and achy and really grouchy all the time, so that I can really kind of go into this full force and really try it. And I am struggling with my own like self-sabotage. That's a thing that I know that I do. I've learned over the years in therapy that that's something that I do. And I'm doing it in a couple of ways. So I am noticing that really towards the end of the week, I'm realizing that it's not as hard as I thought it would be to be on this diet, that I have more leeway and more wiggle room than I thought I did. So then I start in with beating myself up and saying I'm not doing it right and being scared and nervous. And then the other way that I always do things is I always will, if something good starts to happen to me, then I sabotage it immediately. And I'm sort of towing that line. And that's a lot of where my binge eating disorder comes from. I know that I talked when I was back and trying to get pregnant. I almost ovulated, and then I like flew off the deep end with the eating. And so I weighed myself this week, and I've lost almost altogether 10 pounds. But since the start of this, probably about 5 pounds. And that's great because I need to lose weight and I'm excited to lose weight, and that was one of my hopes. So as soon as I saw that number, I get into this panic mode that I'm not going to be able to keep it off, that I'm not going to be able to keep up with this, that I'm just going to screw it up anyway. And then I go into the binge eating again. So I did a lot of binge eating yesterday and even a little bit this afternoon. They're all good foods and foods that I was able to have, but still not something that I want to be doing. That tells me that there's still something in myself that I need to break, and I need to have more self-compassion for that. And, it's in my mind that I will, just have one thing that I am not allowed to have on this diet and it'll be okay. But thankfully I've kept myself from doing it because I don't want to be in the bathroom again. So that's my current struggle is, along with trying to find out a way to make this diet work for me and for my PCOS and, just finish strong. I'm really battling some of like the inner demons or whatever you would call them. That I've struggled with my whole life. And, as much as it really sucks, I really kind of am enjoying sitting back and seeing how things are happening because I'm watching not only my food triggers that have triggered these IBS symptoms, but I'm able to sit back and watch these emotional triggers for myself and I can see them come up. I can pinpoint that they're happening and I am choosing what I'm doing about them. So it's still a really good place for me to be in. I'm still very positive. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know when I will update, I guess in a couple of weeks just to show how things are going and maybe share some things that are working for me in terms of diet. But just know that things are in definitely in a positive lane in my life. I know that I'm going in the right direction. I'm feeling much, much better already. And I'm looking forward to that confidence coming back too. So that's my update for today.